The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning. I'm Paige Clarke. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. This is where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms, and I'm Nico de Haan.
And it's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg, 68 degrees. Looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. It's my birthday,
Yes,
so I
happy
like that.
birthday, 39.
Have a little scratchy throat. An owl in the studio made me a little emergency.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I can't be getting sick with this big Thailand trip coming
That's
up.
for sure, yeah. Next week you're leaving. And,
I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be
but I'm going to
awesome.
send some pictures to you so you
I
can
hope so.
update our listeners, and I'm really excited. Although I
Thailand.
am going to try and detach a little.
Plus,
you know.
there's some, of course, nice monuments that you can visit. in
Oh,
Thailand,
we've got
too.
it all planned. My
Yeah,
daughter
good.
really worked it all out. In fact, we're going to share an interesting article about elephants, and we are going to be seeing some elephants that are
Indian
in rescues. We're going to be seeing the Indians in Thailand, exactly.
Right.
And I want to ask you to subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. This is our newsletter that gives you clickable links to news you can use to stay very healthy.
And the clickable links on here are really important because this is the Purium site, and this is CBD plus 1,500 micrograms. That's a $50 off card. Or if you go to the site, you can buy 4 of them for almost half price. Like
Well, you get
$75.
$100 off a 4-pack.
Yeah,
It gets
so
it down to
that's really good,
$75 a bottle. And as a practitioner, I really can't order wholesale and stock it
Right.
that cheap. I love being able to
Yeah,
offer
that
it
would
to
be nice.
clients
Yeah,
that way.
Getting it this way is good. And also we have 2 cards here. One is the discount for that. And then we also have the discount for the Biomedic, which is really important because that gets rid of the glyphosate out of your body.
That is exactly right. Lowers inflammation and the glyphosate. So we are really giving you some real value there.
And the other thing, of course, is the Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, and it's all fueled by fulvic and humic acid. And I have a little text here, what is fulvic and what is humic acid, and this explains it. But basically, we say it gets the good stuff in.
And the bad stuff out. And
That's right.
please join us. Give us a call, 877-927-6648, and be part of the conversation this morning. Hey, Nico, I found a great article. This is a medical doctor who I have tremendous respect for. He is a prolific writer. Just to go to his website, you could spend the rest of your life there.
Yep.
His name is Dr. Jeffrey Dach, MD, D-A-C-H. So his website is Jeffrey Dach, MD. And I learned a great deal from him about thyroid rejuvenation and all that. I mean, he's just a prolific writer, really great articles.
Cool.
But this one is about medical marijuana and the cannabis research that has been suppressed.
Yeah, and it's been a medical plant for thousands of years. Its medical use was suppressed and banned throughout most of the 20th century, banned in England, Canada, U.S. in the 1930s, and represents the first casualty of war against natural medicine by the pharmaceutical associations.
That's exactly right, Nico.
And yeah, that's the first slap, kind of. You know, we have all these natural things that we've been using for 1,000 years.
And they were part of actually normal pharmacopoeia and pharmacists
Yeah.
at the turn of the century. I mean, even for that matter, cocaine was.
That's true.
And actually, you know, they use cocaine to pull you out of anesthesia. I mean, all of these medicines have a
Really?
benefit in use
Yeah.
if they're used properly.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
but even today, the research efforts are suppressed by our own government. And why is that? Well, you're going to find out that our own government has patents. And over the last 2 decades, there have been major scientific breakthroughs in cannabis research outside of the U.S. In Israel, Spain, Italy, and Brazil, and these breakthroughs have made cannabis the wonder drug of the 21st century.
It's pretty amazing. In the 60s, when we were smoking a joint, we were thinking, you know, this is illegal, and we were, you know, hiding it and all that stuff. And slowly but surely, we're starting to find out that there really have been benefits. And there's probably a whole slew of people that started smoking in the 50s and 60s that still smoke marijuana. And these are probably the test subjects that we could tap into if we wanted to.
Absolutely, Nico. Well, scroll down on the telestrator. This is interesting. The father of medical cannabis research was Raphael Mechoulam from Israel, and he discovered THC in 1964.
Right.
You know, of course, it was being used as a natural medicine, but he actually started identifying the physical constituents at that time.
Exactly.
And that, you know, THC is the psychoactive component of cannabis. And he also discovered the first endogenous endocannabinoid systems in our body. He realized that our body is actually made with cell receptors that will receive the cannabis chemicals into the body.
Yeah, one of the things he says here, 3 major illicit drugs derived from plants were then at the beginning of my career, he states, and still are opium, coca, and cannabis. Morphine has been isolated from opium early in the 19th century and the structure elucidated in the 1920s. Cocaine was isolated from the coca leaves in the middle of the 19th century, and the structure was described by Richard Wilsader in the last decade in the 19th century. He says, I believe that the cannabinoids represent a medical medicinal
which
treasure.
waits to be discovered. So really what we're saying is that the phytochemical, and we've talked about phytochemicals with our listeners, this is the magic. These are the active constituents in plants.
Well, one of the things you were saying, too, before we even started, we had this nice picture up of a bud of marijuana.
And one of my mentors explained to me, when you look at plants or foods, wherever you see white, crystal, fuzzy stuff, that's where the magic is. And I've always remembered that. You look at a bud and it's a crystal white.
Yeah, and it has those little hairs on it, the little white hairs. You're
and think about an apple, too.
Yeah.
Right at the core of an apple, right where the
fibers,
where the seeds are, which people will tell you, oh, don't eat the seeds, they have cyanide. Well, yes, but it's a nature's dose of cyanide, which kills a lot of toxins in your body. So I always say, if you're going to eat an apple, eat the seeds. I mean, why throw away the magic?
Well, also, if you start peeling an orange, you see all that white stuff in between where the peel is.
That's called the white pith.
Yeah.
And that's loaded with bioflavonoids.
Yeah.
And bioflavonoids are the synergists with vitamin C, possibly what actually makes the health benefits.
So you can, just by looking at these things, we know what's good in them, and I'm sure it's an
I've helped people with prostate, urinary frequency. I tell them that I want them to eat the white pith of oranges and grapefruits, change their life.
Wow.
I've got a couple male clients.
Beautiful.
They love it, yeah. So let's take a look, another pretty picture of the cannabis plant. Look at that beautiful, beautiful leaf, the cannabis sativa leaf. And, it is actually a story very similar to the discovery of opiate receptors in the brain. The endocannabinoid receptors are very similar to the opiate receptors. Cannabinoid receptors have been discovered along with their endogenous cannabinoids. That means, endogenous means they're the ones inside of us that we make. And this represents the largest neurotransmitter system in the brain and the immune system.
Yeah.
Extremely important.
And Nora Gagatas, when we spoke to her last, she said that now she's considering medical marijuana as the go-to to extend your life.
Absolutely. This neurotransmitter system went undetected for decades because it involves an unheard of concept and a reverse flow of information from the postsynapse to the presynapse. So in other words, when our neurological system works well, we stay healthy. So we want you to stay with us, and we're going to continue learning more about the history of suppressed research concerning cannabis.
Right, and during the break, please pick up some Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder. Only $89 a month brings it to your door every single month. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
I forgot.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And welcome back. So we're talking about the cannabinoid receptor story. It was in the 1970s, morphine was isolated from the poppy and found to bind to opioid receptors in the brain. And scientists eventually discovered that people make their own opioids. Morphine simply hijacks the receptors for the brain's opiates. And
it's kind of like an imposter. It fits the receptor site,
right,
but it's not the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems likely that something similar was happening with THC and the cannabinoid receptors in the brain and the immune system. The health implications of the endocannabinoid system are staggering. Cannabinoids act as a bi-regulatory mechanism for most of life's processes in the human body.
Isn't that just a beautiful thing, folks? I'm just telling you, there is a list of medical use of cannabinoids. We could go on and on. I think most people know anything from relieving chronic pain to addictions to nausea and vomiting, appetites, relieves migraine headaches.
Anti-cancer for breast, colon, pancreas, brain, glaucoma.
Mm-hmm. Glaucoma is a serious eye disease, and they're getting great results with that for people who have bladder incontinence, and used as an antidepressant, and helps with bipolar and even multiple sclerosis symptoms. It goes on and on. So let's talk a little bit about the timeline for cannabinoids and receptor system. You know, it's interesting, folks, but 2000 BC to 1800 AD, medicinal cannabinoids were used in ancient China, Egypt, India, and Greeks.
Yeah, from 800 AD to 1800 AD, medical cannabis was used extensively in the medieval Islamic world. Mm-hmm. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm. Then we kind of skip on over to the 18 and 1900s in perhaps in our country, and medical cannabis was commonly used the entire world as a primary pain reliever until the invention of aspirin.
See, there's so many things we don't know about this when we go into ancient history, and there's a whole area here from like 1800 AD to the 1800s, or from 800 to 1800 AD. That's 1,000 years of being used by everybody, and primarily as a enhancer to dull the pain, but also a mood elevator. You know, changes your mood in 15 or 20 minutes if you're smoking it. So there's a lot of benefits.
So we're talking about aspirin. Of course, aspirin was created by the company Bayer, the parent company of Bayer, and it's actually a derivative of an herb. Imagine that. It's white willow bark, and then they modify it and create aspirin. I like to argue take white willow bark instead. Might be a smarter move.
Yeah, so
and in 1925, England would ban cannabis with the Dangerous Drug Act. And non-medical cannabis made illegal in Britain.
This has happened all around the same time. Canada banned all forms of cannabis in 1927. It was 1937 that the 28 cannabis pharmaceuticals on the market were banned. Of course, this...
It's all right during the Flexner Report. See, Rockefeller created the Flexner Report. The Flexner Report, for those of you who watch our show, you know, Rockefeller went to all the medical schools. There were over 500. The majority of them were naturopathic. They used herbs and natural substances, and they basically said, if you want to play, you're going to pay, and you're going to use my drugs, my pharmaceuticals, or there won't be any funding for your school. And over 400 medical schools disappeared within a period of 20
And it was
years.
also the actions of the tycoon out in the West who was making paper out of cannabis, out of the hemp, and decided, boy, I've got all this land. And we're talking about, of course, the paper guy. And he wanted to make it out of wood, which it's a lot harder process, takes a lot more chemicals, not really good for the environment. But he says, I have it, it's free if we just start getting these drugs out of the country. And the main supply was coming from Mexico. So here we have two people, the Rockefeller Foundation and the Hearst Foundation, that were both against this, and they collaborated together to get this out, one for medical reasons, one for paper reasons.
Right, and because cannabis was actually a big hemp in general, which is a species, was a big part of American agriculture of our forefathers.
In fact, there was a law saying that every farmer in the United States had to grow at least a few acres of it.
Exactly, but things changed in the 20s and the 30s, and we saw the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act. It was in the way of profits from pharmaceuticals. I call them the cheap imposters. Isn't it funny when people refer to those of us that are in the natural medicine world as alternative medicine? Since when did the original become the alternative?
Yeah, and it's a shame because the hemp grows very fast. It's renewable very quickly, where trees take a long time to grow. So it was not a good thing. Trees we need because they're the ones who eat all the carbon dioxide.
And you know, you might even remember too, it was actually in the 1937s that a movie was played in the movie theaters called Reefer Madness. So they created this idea to create fear that it was somehow a gateway drug and that it was bad in itself and that might lead to murder and infidelity and all kinds of things. So again, the media, which is being used extremely in a divisive way today, was doing this all the way back then.
So it was really in the 60s that the musicians really started getting a hold of marijuana. And it was in 1970 that the United States tried to fully outlaw it by this Controlled Substance Acts of 1970. In 1975, Munson showed anti-cancer effects of cannabis in the Lewis lung tumors.
Right, so in other words, the research was continuing to show its efficacy in preventing disease, but they continued to suppress it, I think, in hopes that their pharmaceutical snake oil would somehow or another create something that they could, make money off of, because of course,
and
marijuana.
also, at that time, it was around 1970, even in the 90s, that they were saying this is just as bad as cocaine and heroin. They actually made it a Class 1 drug, which made it very difficult for you to not go to jail if you're...
it's like extremely dangerous, and it's not, but they put in that. So in the 1980s to the 2000s, cannabis research was basically banned in the U.S. They didn't want anyone studying it. They didn't want anyone finding out about it. And it was 85 that the FDA approved Marinol, a pure THC drug. So in other words, the government came up with a patentable, modified, isolated form. And, it's interesting, that is the pure THC, and, that has a lot of the benefits for nausea. But many cancer patients that I've talked to never got benefits from the Marinol.
Well,
they
it's a
get it from the real
form.
plant. That's what I'm saying. And whenever you isolate and make something a synthetic, it's the cofactors. You know,
Well,
that's
kill
why.
it, basically.
Well,
It's not
it's not
alive
even
anymore.
killing it. You're taking one of the active components, and you're expecting to get the result when
Of
it's
both.
truly a symphony
Okay.
of the cofactors.
Right.
That's important. So it was in 1992 that the first endocannabinoid isolated by a group of researchers at that Dr. Raphael's lab in at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and they named this new substance anandamide. And ananda means bliss. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And it was the 1990s that endocannabinoid CB1 receptors were cloned and found in the brain. So CB1, think of number 1 at the top of your head. That's the type of receptor we have in our brain. And then on the other side, we have the CB2 receptors, which are found out throughout the whole body and are found in the immune system. This is an interesting timeline.
Yeah, there was an
an
Italian group that found also that the cannabinoids inhibit breast cell
breast cancer cell proliferation.
Yeah,
Why in
so-
the world wouldn't we want everyone, you know, on this product?
Yeah.
So we're going to continue this. Be
Stick
right
around,
with us.
folks.
Be right back.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back. There was a comment in the chat room that aspirin can cause blood loss through the digestive system. It makes the stomach bleed. That's a perfect example of what I mentioned earlier when we often isolate a phytochemical that may be in its natural state with its cofactors, produces a good result and doesn't have a negative side effect. Many times when we compound something, we get a negative side effect. And that is very true, particularly a lot of older people. have been told by their doctors to take baby aspirin or aspirins every day, and then we wonder why they end up with bleeding ulcers and this kind of a thing. You got to start connecting the dots,
folks.
folks.
Been retracted too lately, I think. Yeah. So.
What do you mean retracted?
They're saying they're no longer necessary to do that. So they.
Not wise, because they realized they were killing people.
Yeah.
I like to tell people, if you want to make sure you don't have a lot of clotting in your blood, you take systemic proteolytic enzymes in between meals, nattokinase, serrapeptidase. But getting back,
your lipids, the fatty acids are all anti-inflammatory, and they do the same thing. So I mean, we have the natural products there if we're just eating the right diet.
Exactly. So getting back to the timeline on the cannabinoids and endocannabinoid system, I think, where are we now? We're like
1993, the B2, but we did
we already went through that.
Yeah, so 1999 is where Marinol, which is THC, was
which is the commercial version.
Yeah, from Schedule 2 to Schedule 3 of controlled
Oh, in other words, the pharmaceutical isolated version, like we just saw the salicylic acid.
That's a 2 or 3.
That's safe.
But the other one is 1.
The natural plant is 1. You're going to go to jail. Really, just, it only makes sense if you don't think about it.
Yeah. Now, the new Canadian law, of course, is going into effect, and one of the benefits of that is the people who've bought less or have found less than 30 grams on them and are in jail, they're going to be let go.
I truly believe that we're going to see this opening up, and we're not going to have this kind of incarceration of people that are using natural medicine. I really believe.
I don't see that happening in the United States. We have too many of the private prisons and things like that, too much money involved to let these people out.
It really is sad.
It's sad, yeah.
So we continued to see additional research in 2006 and 2007, research that showed that cannabinoids inhibit aggressive breast cancer cells. So if you know people that are really having trouble with those triple negative breast cancer, they need to be on cannabinoids, right? And then in 2009, 2 components of cannabis plants were identified, the THC, which is the psychoactive, and the non-psychoactive CBD, which represents up to 40% of the extracts of the medical cannabis plant. Yeah. And the cannabidiol relieves convulsion, inflammation, anxiety, nausea, and inhibits cancer cell growth. Yeah. Cannabidiol is as effective as atypical antipsychotics in treating schizophrenia.
Yeah. So a lot of benefits to this, and the sad part is that in 2009, 10 million people were arrested for marijuana since the 1960s. So in 13 states, we have these thousands and thousands and millions of people in jail because of the laws that are.
Well, and again, just like their pharmaceutical solution, Marinol, that doesn't work and is actually probably dangerous. It's They've basically put a lot of innocent people in jail.
Well, one thing that a class 1 drug kills people. And here's a statistic for you: the safety of marijuana. There has never been a documented human fatality from marijuana.
Yeah, the respiratory depression from opiates does not happen with cannabinoids. Yep. Okay, guys. So I think this is really important, and a lot of people want to know the active ingredient in cannabis is cannabidiol. Okay, cannabidiol, and they consider it in the U.S. a Schedule I drug in the U.S. despite having no psychoactive effects and no known abuse potential. And it kills cancer cells, it relieves pain, serves as an antidepressant, has numerous medical uses. Yep. And there's a nice video here with some, we've got some, maybe we'll put this in the newsletter,
Yeah, we certainly will.
And, really, we need to really explore the idea, what happens when people realize they can grow plants in their own backyard yielding cancer medicines that work?
Which you can do in Canada starting, I think, this spring or something, maybe even now. But,
and maybe, see, that's the problem. In the states that are legal, they still want you to funnel through their government. People are going to get their marijuana cards. And I have a question that even though this is, and you're paying probably top dollar for it, and you're getting all these cute little chocolate-covered coffee beans and little gummies and so forth.
It's experiment in progress right
how do we even know if they're not screwing around with that formulation?
Well, you have to trust the companies, where you get it from. Know your dealer, in other words. It's an important thing to get quality products, no doubt. And a lot of people have told me that, at the dojo, we have a lot of people who partake in marijuana and stuff. And people tell me that it's still cheaper to get it on the black market, and you know what you're getting. Whereas a lot of times in these stores, the people are not educated enough. You might not be able to get the certain things you want. So there is a big black market out there still, and the way you can eliminate that is just legalize everything.
Right. So, you know, getting back to this idea, it actually did happen up in Canada's Nova Scotia, the story of Rick Simpson. This is a great story if you want to Google this on YouTube or something, who did exactly that. He grew hemp in his garden, extracted the hemp oil, and rediscovered a medicine that cures cancer. And it's really a beautiful story. Watch the videos about Rick Simpson of Nova Scotia, Canada. But we've got, in the U.S., there are 14 states now that have passed laws legalizing medical cannabis, and we really want to join the movement to legalize the medicinal use of cannabis. And we really need to let our congressmen know we expect that kind of support from them.
Well, it's not just that, it's the hemp too, because that's a big product that really solves a lot of problems with a lot less pollution than trees. And you know, we want to save trees naturally. The wild areas are so important to us. So why not go back and start farming these things, which is a heck of a lot better than, I'd rather see a whole hemp field than a field of the wheat or corn and things like that. It just makes more sense to me. This is medicine we can use.
Yeah, and there's some great links in this for people that might want to follow up. And I do really support, you know, the CBDs, the active endocannabinoid system that we have. Likes the CBD from hemp, and that is legal in all states. Remember, we've got the marijuana plant, and then we've got the hemp plant, and they're actually sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, my wife and I have been taking the Purium CBD oil, and it's a great product. You take it every morning, a few sprays in the mouth in the morning, and the anxiety is gone. You feel better. And from
I'm really getting great results with it. I'm thrilled that for those of you that get our newsletter, there is a coupon to save $50 off on CBD from Purium, and it actually works out great to buy 4 bottles. That gets it down to $75 a bottle, and
a bottle is about a month's use, folks. So
well, really, when you do some math problems, and we're going to learn about how an elephant does a math problem in a minute, but when you do the math, it blows your mind. I had someone in, they go, oh, I've got some that's 750 milligrams, and they were paying 110. And I said, and how many squirts do you need? Oh, I need 9. And I said, well, you know, you're going to have to multiply what you're paying by 5 times. So really, they were paying $5.20 a bottle.
Yeah, much more.
They weren't doing the math. It's important to do the math.
Yeah, it's important to see what's in it, and the 1,500 milligrams is what you need. That's the potent formula, and that's the way you can keep the price consistent.
The 1,500 milligrams divided by a 30 ml bottle gives you 50 milligrams per serving, and that's the serving that generates great results. Some people take more.
Yeah,
some people take
7,
less.
my wife takes 5.
Yeah, and you can take more if you need to. Hey, we're going to take a short break, and speaking of math, let's find out how an elephant study reveals an innate ability to do math. I'm going to ask those elephants when I go to Thailand how they're doing on their math, but we'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
I want to share this article with you that I found in Inverse.com. It says that the elephant study reveals an innate ability for math rivaling that of humans. And when the arithmetic-performing celebrity horse, Clever Hans, was exposed as a phony back in 1907, we kind of lost faith in the math skills of our animal kin. But new research suggests that Clever Hans's owner should have opted for elephants instead, because a study published in the Journal of Ethology suggests that Asian elephants' math ability could put them head and shoulders and trunks and ears above most other animals, even the ones we think that are especially clever.
It's pretty cool. They mentioned specifically the Asian elephant. I wonder if this is a slap in the face to the African, but probably not.
The way I remember is the African elephant's ears look like the shape of the continent.
Oh, that's
When you
interesting.
think about it,
One of the large ones. That's the way I remember it. But yeah, that's a nice way of doing it. We know so little about communicating with animals. Of course, the ones that are pets of ours, the ones we come across, even dolphins and things like that, we know they're smart. And the ones we don't know if they're smart or not. And I probably think they are. I mean, when I go out in the woods with my Bigfoot friend, we don't see a lot of animals there. They're smart. They run away from us.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need to be around these people.
That's right.
You know, my mom is totally convinced that her little dog understands exactly what she says. She'll say, eat your food, and then we go to the back door. She'll eat her food and go to the back door. No, we're going to go to the front door today. She goes to the front door.
Wow.
She knows the, whatever it is, she understands the intonation or something. There's a new study. A team of scientists show that Asian elephants have an inherent ability to count that surpasses the skills of other animals. The author says the findings, which focused on an elephant living in Japan's Ueno Zoo, are the first experimental evidence that non-human animals have cognitive characteristics partially identical to human counting. We've seen those elephants that are artists. Have you seen those? Oh, those are amazing.
Also, if you look at YouTube and you just put pets in or any kind of animal, you'll see a lot of different videos of pets doing really remarkable things, some strange things. I saw one the other day, was really cute, was a Labrador, and it had a little baby Labrador right in front of him like that, and the owner was coming up to him with something that you could perceive it to be threatening.
Right.
You know, and both paws were going right around.
Right.
Like this. You know,
Like,
the dog's like, don't mess with my baby, you know.
Oh my
so
gosh.
the animals, you know, these are innate things in them to protect the young. We certainly have that in us too. But there's a lot of things that when you're talking to an animal, you know, they cock their head a little bit. It looks like they're paying attention. Even out in the wild, a deer will stare at you and is looking at you. And you, hi, how you doing? And it seems like if you talk nice to them, they're going to be around a lot longer. But if you try to go towards them or something threatening, then of course they're going to leave. Animals are smart.
So this study they did was on a elephant named Athe, and she was 14-year-old female, and she was presented with 2 images of different sized fruits clustered together. And her task was to choose the image showing the large number of items. In the end, she correctly completed this task 181 out of 271 times, a nearly 67% success rate.
And here's some of the things that they're using to identify what they're counting. Really cool stuff. I love animals, and I think we know very little about them, and I think all animals are bright in their certain limitations of their physical body. There's certain things. I mean, if your brain was inside a dog's brain, there's not a lot you could do except bark and and do things that your owner wanted to, and probably if you were the smartest dog, you'd be free and you'd go find your pack.
Right.
I think all animals have the innate thing inside them to want to be wild.
Just like we want to be wild, but yet tribal and have our own kind,
Well, we've lost it as human beings.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like domestic dogs and horses. They're already content. When you break a horse, the horse is given up.
Exactly. They don't have that wild spirit.
So that's kind of the way we have kind of given up too.
Yeah, it's kind of,
we kind of need to get our mojo back, because living in this society that we have, and I'm talking about the whole earth, we are broke. We're so out of touch with nature that, and nature is the very thing, and we keep going back to this, nature is the very thing that keeps us alive, healthy, smart.
Right. Here's a comment from the scientists. I wonder if these skills are related to their advanced social networks, where they recognize individual relationships among numerous individuals with their recognized spatial cognitive abilities. Yeah. Whitmire, the scientist, said because vision is known to be a tertiary sensory modality for elephants, I would imagine numeric sensitivity would be enhanced if assessed with one of their primary sensory systems, like their olfactory modalities. Remember, the smell.
Yeah, and animals use smell a lot.
There's a related article that says scientists are studying why elephants don't develop cancer. That might be interesting. And no one is sure why these Asian elephants have counting skills that are similar to our own and so different from the other elephants. That was what you brought up. Yeah. It's possible their unique ability evolved independently, according to one of the lead authors, as the species have diverged more than 7.6 million years ago. So it's highly probable they have different cognitive abilities.
Let's think about it. The Indian elephant, the Asian elephant has been used for thousands of years as a beast, an intelligent beast to help, whereas the African elephant, very seldom did that happen. So here we have a long history of maybe 1,000 years or more where this species has interacted with human beings, and maybe this is what makes it connect with us mathematically, because they're so used to being part of our family too. They're not as much in the wild, and these animals certainly are. Probably have never spent any time in the wild. They've spent all their times with human beings. So naturally, they want to connect with the person that's taking care of them and feeding them and protecting them in a sense. Where the African elephants, they're out in the wild. I don't see many being used as as the Indian elephants or the Asian elephants, as they say here, has been. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just giving you my own theory.
Here's another comment. It's becoming increasingly clear that animals can count. Elephants aside, researchers know that lions only attack prides that outnumber their own. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So if one had 10, another one had 12, the 10 would not attack the 12. Right. Okay. That outnumber their own. So they would. They would. Isn't that interesting?
To get the level back down.
Oh, isn't that interesting? And guppies can distinguish between 4 guppies and 5. Nevertheless, the cognitive underpinning that allows these animals to do so is still debated. What's actually driving it? The Asian elephants are seemingly more advanced than the rest of the animal kingdom, and scientists who study them are likely counting their blessings.
Yes. And we know birds count. We know that if you look at YouTube, there's so many different animals that are interacting with humans in a very cool way. We got birds talking. We got kittens playing piano, all kinds of different things. So we know the animals are smart, and when they're in our realm, they seem to want to please us. Once they're comfortable with being with us, they seem to want to please us.
Like the mimicry of like parrots,
well,
for
it's
example.
also, I think a lot has to do with the pack. You know, we're talking about pack animals, mostly like dogs are. Cats, not so much. They're more solitary, so no wonder they're much more aloof. You can't make, it's very difficult to get a cat to make them do anything. I taught one of my cats how to go to the bathroom on the toilet.
Oh, you did? You potty, or you litter trained him?
Yeah, so we know things are possible, but it's harder.
Oh, yeah, when we get back, while we're on the subject of animals, we'll talk about essential oils and pets, and are they safe, and which ones might work for your animals.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has put together the best lineup of live content for traders by traders every market day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected minds in the business. TFNN broadcasts 5 days a week, live from 8:30 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Every morning at 8:30 a.m., Jason Paff starts things off with his program, The Morning Market Kickoff. At 9 a.m., Larry Pezzamento breaks down the market for the opening bell with Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Nadex Options Hour, followed at 11 a.m. by the team at TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim with Fast Market. Basil Chapman hosts the Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, Steve Rhodes at 1 p.m. with the Trader's Edge, Dave White at 2 p.m. with the Power Trading Hour, and Tom O'Brien anchors the daily lineup from 3 till 5 as host of The Tom O'Brien Show. Tune in to TFNN's Tiger TV on your computer or mobile device, and you can always find us streaming on YouTube. TFNN.com, educating investors.
No, but still a better idea.
So welcome back. We were just saying that we were going to share some information about essential oils and are they safe for our pets? This kind of ties into our discussion today. We talked about marijuana and CBD. These are actually phytochemicals, which is what is the power of essential oils. And I'm a clinical aromatherapist, and I love essential oils, but I think it's important to know that a isolated phytochemical, like when they isolate the tea, it needs to be treated with respect. It can be powerful medicine.
Right.
And then at the same time, sometimes when we make essential oil blends where we're mixing more, one of the strategies those of us have is that when we make a blend, we make a plant. You know what that means?
That's cool.
So we pick an essential oil that comes from a root. We find an essential oil that is from the stem, like geranium, the
one
fuzzy,
from a flower, perhaps.
one from the leaves, and one from the flower.
Yeah, and that's where it all comes from. They come from the root, from the stem, from the leaves, and the flower of plants. We love plants, and this is one of the greatest ways
Let
of
plants be thy medicine is what we
exactly
know.
Right.
And so essential oils are naturally occurring, and they're volatile aromatic compounds. They're fat-loving, and they're best used diluted with a fat, a carrier oil, we call it. And but these compounds come from the seeds, the bark, the stem, the flowers, and the roots of plants. And if you've used them before, you are familiar with how potent and fragrant and fun to use they really can be. Yeah. But they're very powerful medicine. They're great for your health. And are they actually good for your pets? Why, yes, if you know which ones are good for your pets.
That's right. There's a whole illustration here of like lavender oil and peppermint oil, chamomile oil, and it tells you which it's good for. This one is obviously good for the dog.
It's vital to know which essential oils are good for your animal. And cats are a little more sensitive to essential oils, not so much. Not something we really want to go too much overboard. We're a little more careful with some of these oils for cats. Cats seem to have, but lavender, as we know, is the kind of the standard that anyone can use. Safe for babies,
and this
safe
helps you
for old
relax.
people.
It's good for burns and allergies. It's good to help you sleep because that's what I use it for. It helps with anxiety, just like the CBDs does.
It balances the nervous system.
It also helps with pet odor. So, naturally, it's because it has a great smell. There's a lot of them in here. I'm going to put this in the next newsletter. We don't have time to go through it all. But just wanted to give you a clue that what's good for us may be good for your pet also.
That's right.
So
have a great day.
Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Jason Path has just launched his weekly newsletter, The Quantitative Edge, available only at TFNN.com. Right now, you can sign up for Jason's outstanding weekly report, including midweek updates whenever warranted, with a 30-day money-back guarantee included, so you have nothing to risk. Jason develops his trade recommendations by creating an ensemble of predictive and mathematical models trained on data by leveraging a variety of techniques, including market-based computer simulations. Jason then combines these sophisticated predictive and analytical models with deeply researched macro outlooks to identify opportunities in a number of different markets for traders to act on. Whether you're looking to trade futures, equities, commodities like crude oil and gold, forex, or cryptos, Jason covers it all. Sign up for Jason Path's weekly trading newsletter right now by visiting the front page of TFNN.com, and you'll find the Quantitative Edge under the Newsletters tab. TFNN.com, educating investors.